technology ever. So we will have the honor to have here tonight Dr. Diaz, and he is the Chief Medical and Science Officer with Sanki Global. And part of his background is that he has a PhD in biochemistry at the University of Nancy in France. And also he has a master in biotechnologies. Among so many other things, I mean, his CV is so long and so extent, and I know that he's very humble that he doesn't want that we share all the things that he has been participating with. But I can tell you that I admire Dr. Diaz because he has been developing a huge clusters, or a lot of clusters around the world to create a solid foundation for all the company that he's leading. And we have the honor to have him here today. He developed the Sanki formulas. He's a product category creator. And we just need to say thank you to Dr. Diaz because his tenacity, his dedication, his willingness, and also the love that he has to serve other people has been allowed us to have these amazing formulas and these unique products around the world that we can help a lot of people around the world. And also we have the honor here to have one of my best friends as well, and someone that I met 20 years ago in this amazing industry. We have Mr. Alejandro Lopez-Tello, and he is the CEO, founder, and chairman of Sanki Global. So part of his education is very important that I mention this because he has received a special certifications from different parts of the most important universities like Stanford, Georgetown, Berkeley, Notre Dame, and also Michigan universities. And it's so honored when you are working side by side with someone that is always dedicated to develop the best version of everyone that he worked with. And he also received the award as an Entrepreneur of the Year by the Expansion magazine. And he also has a doctorate degree, and he received the Honoris Causa award, and he has been recognized all around the world as a great speaker, as a great inspirational man, and also to inspire a lot of people in different areas, in different science, technology, business, and personal development. So he has been developing an amazing job, and he had the vision and the opportunity to develop this company and to take the company to the place that it is today. So it's my honor to have both of them tonight in this call. And I know that you want to hear more from them than from me because you see me very often. But now it's time to introduce with Dr. Diaz and Alejandro Lopez-Tello. Please take us away.
Hello, Jose. I'm really excited to be with all of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the introduction. We're pretty excited to serve you and to share with you some of the latest clinical trials that we have around one of our top products, Belash. And I'm really excited to be here with my friend, my partner, and somebody that has believed in our vision and our mission, Dr. Diaz. He has been a teacher, a mentor for me as well. And tonight we have a lot to share with you. So I'm really excited of what's going on with the US and all the Caribbean islands that have already opened. We have a lot to grow. We have a huge opportunity in front of us. I've been telling this since the pandemic started. We have the best technology in the world. We have the best products in the world. And now we are attracting the best leadership in the world to make this company explode as it deserves. Because we have been patient, we have been resilient, and we have confirmed after 11 years of being in business that we have a company that has a strong track record, that has credibility, that has a strong reputation, and that is ready to explode with all of you. So let's make it happen. Let's get ready for all this explosion and all the excitement that will come with all this explosion, because customers out there are really in desperate need for our technology. This pandemic has really changed our mindset, has really changed the way we are seeing things around longevity, around well-being. And now we're absolutely ready. We have been preparing and working and investing very hard in this company to be ready at this stage, at this moment, 2021, to make the US expansion, the US growth, the US explosion as never ever seen before. We don't want to be the fastest growing company in the industry. We want to be the best. And that's why it has taken us time. We're not in a hurry, but we want to stay in the market and to have a legacy company. That's our goal. So you can share this opportunity. You can even inherit this opportunity with your children, with your grandchildren. So you can feel proud of being part of the building of the foundation of this great mission, this great company. So thank you again for being here. And I'd like to share my screen with Dr. Ideas and his team so we can start with this conference. Thank you, Dr. Ideas, for being here. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
So you can share some of the information with our fantastic leaders from the US.
Yeah, good evening, Alex. Good evening, Jose and Dr. Elen. Thank you very much for this chance. It is a rising morning here in Tokyo, and I'm very, very happy to share with you and connect with you, and it's an honor to be at this moment with you. So it's almost 11 years, Alex, since we started this family business, I call it, not even partnership, but family business. And our aim is frankly speaking, is at this moment is to tell people where we came from and where we are going in terms of our science, culture, and vision of development. So we will share with you today the origin of our technology, why it is different from other people. It is not about being different, but it's about being able to bring an advantage which does not be in the shelves everywhere. And the last point is how can we evolve this technology and bring it around our members in the next 10 years. So it's a 10 years vision of this development. So we will start, Mitsuko, to put the presentation you sent me here. The Zoom, thank you. Perfect, oh, it's here, okay, great. So through this presentation, we will go over the origin of what we have been starting, Alex, and where we are going. So, of course, we will talk about the scientific development, the research and development, the clinical testing we are doing, and how we can bring the efficiency for our members. So we started together, Alex, on 2010. You always remember this image we have in central Tokyo in Ginza Street. I think this is just the few hours before you take your flight back to Mexico. So you was casual at that day, you know. We don't see in the photo, but you have a lot of cookies back, etc. The technology that we talked about at that time was the village technology. This horizon formula that we have been developing in the Japanese market, and it was our top, our best. This is our best assembly at that time, and still. So where all of this has been started, and why our way is different from others, and why we don't fit in the market easily, is a lot of company, a lot of research and development, scientific company, health companies start by finding some problems and they try to solve them. And this is the business model for a lot of people. You find problem, you solve it, and you make profit out of solving it for the customers. The question, this is, I think, can work when it comes to food to beverage to cars to technology. But when it comes to human body, it is really very, very complicated to find the problems, because the human body is evolved over billions of years, to at least 200 millions of years as the human body we know it today. And it is very, very complex body with a lot of mechanism, with a lot of, with 20,000 genes, with same at least billions of type of molecules of microbiome, etc. So it's really a complicated watch to repair. The interesting things where we started is almost more than 20 years ago. The opportunity I got is somebody have very difficult subject, which is to study the centenarian 100 years people, why they live not only 100 years and more, but in good health. So the point was not the longevity, it was the why the condition of this longevity is very good. And this is very, very difficult to study, because we normally start from the problem and move to the solution. But in this case, I don't have the problem, I have the solution, and I must reverse this solution to understand where is the problem started. So there is no literature, there is no guideline, there is no internet that talk about how to reverse engineer the system of the everything. Talking is about nutrition and the sport and social life, which is very difficult to replicate. So in reality, the solution does not exist from the beginning. It's not realistic. So we come back to this solution, to this project. It was located in Okinawa, the island of Okinawa, which I still working with the same people there. And during 6 months, we choose 13 men and 13 women, and I study them for 6 months. I went and I have lunch with these people. I talked with them, plus minus lived with them, to try to understand why these people, they don't go to doctors, they don't have diabetes, dementia is not there, their brain capacity is memorization is perfect, their skin condition is very good. So plus minus the perfect body. And during 6 months, I was thinking that this is because of the nutrition, and we start analyzing the nutrition of these people and what they are doing, etc. Here you can see the only point that I found after 6 months that have similarities between all of these men and women is the inflammation. Both of these, all of these centenarians, men, women, they share together one unique point: is very stable inflammation. It means their body does not have the zigzag going up and down of inflammatory reactions. So plus minus, they don't have fire in the house. It's always a stable system. Now, where this stability come from? Some of them, they say because they drink some alcohol. Some of them, they say because they eat some fish, or they are walking, or some of the men say, because he got married 3 times. Some of the women, they say because she always cook for her neighbors and the things. So the reality, finally, I can boil it down to one point: connection. These people connect with something that makes them have such strength. At one point, Alex, and this is not in any presentation, one of what guided me to the microbiome and this issue of the bacteria of the human body is there is this centenarian man, and he's quite famous in his area, in Yumitan area, in just north of Naha in Okinawa. He growing sweet potato, and this man is famous of being like he bringing the health to other people. Plus minus, if you have kid who is sick, you bring him to this man who is making his soup, who think that this soup is miraculous soup, and he start eating with his chopstick this soup, and at the middle he give it to the people who is sick. They finish it, they go back home, they sleep, and next morning they are much better.
Wow.
So this is where I start thinking, maybe this is something. Let's check what this guy has in his mouth. What is he has in his hand? The only thing that these people have different from each other is not the gene, but the bacteria. We realize after some times, which took us another at least 6 months, that these centenarians, they have very specific microbiome, very specific bacteria in their skin and in their guts. And this has completely changed the way I looked at this problem. So the solution is not in the human body at all. It is external things that we need to connect, bring it from body to body, it comes from the food, the environment, the things we touch around us. And this is bring us to the microbiome, why some of them are strong, why some of them are weak. And this is where we can find not good and bad in terms of microbiome, but the strong and weak. Even the strong one, what we call sometimes bad or good, they can produce some advantage for the human body. And this is, we could quantify it very clearly, that these centenarians, they have very specific ecosystem around them that the others don't have. So it is not in the food. Now, how can we take this bacteria from, or this point from this human to other human, is very, very complicated. The human microbiome from human to human cannot survive more than few hours maximum. And the easiest way we could do it is try to find some similarity between these super bacteria, this super microbiome, and some similar ones we can collect from nature. The first one came in 2003 from a Spanish plantation. Spanish doctor, Dr. Micol, who is the dean now of university in south of Spain, he contacted me, things similar to what you are talking about in terms of centenarians, and we find it in the trees. I moved to Spain, we check these trees, we take samples of these trees. It took us more than 2 years to make the culture, to grow. Finally, we reach a system where the trees have this bacteria inside them, the olive trees. And you can see clearly, it is not the polyphenol that was interesting. Was not the component of the leaf inside, but something outside, which is the bacteria living on the leaves and then touching the fruits and the tree itself. So isolate this and try to develop a whole ecosystem around this solution. So the target was simply, how can we replicate the human body that survived 100 years and in good condition? Simple as that. I was not trying to solve cholesterol or the obesity or diabetes. Just simply, we have a perfect system. This perfect system, they have this component. If we bring this component and this ecosystem and this style to the average human, maybe we can get the same advantage. So we try to replicate this, and this is where we reach the things around the olive tree, and took us to the rosemary. At that time, when people say, oh, they have olive leaf and rosemary together, it's because they compound, because they are Mediterranean. In reality, no, not at all. The component from the both plants, when we put them together, like the carnosic acid here, which has a very unique cascade, very intelligent molecule, it makes that they produce something similar. I'm not saying 100% same, similar to what the centenarians, the 100 years people produce. So we just copy the perfect people. Somebody is working very hard and succeeding. We just copy that. They wake up early in the morning. They don't waste their time. We just copy the same thing and let's see what the result done. And this has brought us to develop the molecules from the rosemary, from the olive leaf at the same time. This we nano size molecules. At that time, people think, oh, we want to do encapsulation or etc. In reality, these metabolites, they exist at a nano size, and they have this efficiency that we could demonstrate easily by the gene expression testing. Now, if you go back, Alex, to 2003, 2005, make gene expression, no food supplement will do that. It is pharmaceutical level research. And this is what gives us some unique, paradoxal way of developing this technology is something very old like the olive trees, something high-tech like the gene expression testing, which is normally does not combine together easily. And this is how we start developing this Orisod formula that give Bilaj later on the efficacy.
Now, to stop here,
yes,
just because I think that people have the wrong education. It's a matter of education, and we believe that if we take supplements, dietary supplements, nutrigenomics, or there are many products, thousands of products out there, and we think that it's a matter of the proteins or carbohydrates, sugars, fat, vitamins, minerals that the products, these supplements have in order to complement our daily food intake so we can become stronger, have more energy, obtain antioxidants. And what you're saying is that this is completely different. And this is a completely different approach that has been confirmed scientifically speaking. And now we need to teach all the people out there that have the wrong ideas and the wrong information around nutrition and longevity.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very important to stop here and reinforce this concept, because otherwise people continue with these wrong ideas and this wrong information on how we can be better and have a better lifestyle and have better health.
Yeah, I think, Alex, yes, we need to bring this awareness. The challenge we have, the challenge I have, frankly speaking, very difficultly, the headwind we had is there is a lot of knowledge about nutrition that came from the advertisement in the 60s, 70s, 80s that still exists today. Like if you have more vitamin C, that you have better health. If you have more protein, you have more muscles. If you have more of each, and the industry become making race of who is adding more of the things. These days, I'm not talking about the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. This week, still there's a lot of companies spending money to advertise that their products contain more of something. And some even they enjoy saying that in this one capsule of vitamin C, you have equivalent of vitamin C of 50 lemon. So the race is about to have more. And everybody forgets suddenly that it is not about having a lot of money, it's knowing how to use it. It's not about having a lot of time, it's know how to allocate it. It's not about having a lot of arms, it's know when to use it. And this when and how and things, this is the complicated part, that there is no organ in the body responsible for that. The heart is just a muscle pumping things, is not doing the organization. The organization part is come from these invisible microbiome that we don't even call them organ in the body. And they are controlling everything. And they are more powerful than any human, that the human decided to leave them in the side and to neglect them for a lot of years. We just call them, this is good one and this is bad one. And in reality, they are the master of the body.
Because that's another important concept. From one side, I absolutely agree. And by the way, with this pandemic, just the vitamin C sales have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Everybody is taking vitamin C because they need at a bigger, higher amount, because people think that if they take 3 or 4 pills instead of 1 of vitamin C, they will be stronger. and they can avoid maybe the COVID-19. So I fully agree. And it's demonstrated in the sales of vitamin C just in 2020. And on the other hand, as you say, and also media has contributed to that, we have this belief that bacteria are bad. You know? So you wash your hands to eliminate bacteria. You take products to destroy the bacteria inside your body. Actually, there are medicines, drugs that are for that. And you go to a gastroenterologist, and usually some of them, maybe from the old school, tell you, take these pills, take this drug,
yes.
take this medicine, and you will clean up your guts on a yearly basis from the bacteria. And we also get sick from some specific types of bacteria, and sometimes we can end up with, for example, diarrhea or something like that. So we have all this misconception about bacteria. So when we talk about bacteria, people out there and all our audience tonight, I'm sure they are thinking, oh, bacteria, but for me, bacteria is bad. We should not have bacteria inside our bodies. We should not have bacteria in our hands. We should never consider being in touch with bacteria. We need to destroy them.
Yes. This is the biggest challenge I have, and still now it's much easier, to be honest with you, Alex. But if you look at it 20 years ago, people thought what you are saying, bacteria is very bad, and I come to meet people and present data that bacteria is what make the human live longer, better, smarter, and people was laughing at that. It's not easy to take this morning, at this moment with our audience, okay? Take, for example, I give you very simple things that we are doing. It exists as solution, but it's very difficult to sell. Take hypertension. If anybody, if somebody around you, he has hypertension in your family, you tell them, don't eat salt. And as soon as they reduce salt, they have much better result. Am I right?
Yeah.
The missing point, everybody stop at the salt, but what they don't understand is there is this bacteria, Lactobacillus marinus, which has been demonstrated, published a lot of time. You eat salt, this bacteria disappear. You cut the salt, this bacteria come back. Now, what happens if we give this bacteria or make it live much easier in the human guts? Immediately you get much better in hypertension. So option number one, I must tell to somebody, don't eat salt. Option number two, I'm sure he's going to cheat and will buy some snacks or eat, even if you drink some cheese, if you eat some cheese, it has a lot of salt inside. Salt is everywhere. So the solution is, if this bacteria is in the human gut, make that the people who have it does not have hypertension, it's better for me to encourage this bacteria to live in the guts. And this is what a component like Bilaj is doing, is not doing cutting the salt or cutting the things or improving somebody. It is improved that such family of bacteria, instead of they leave the body, they're still there. And this is the technology we are talking about. How can we manage this system?
Because the conclusion of this research that you did with the centenarians was that the secret to this longevity and staying in good health was the microbiota, all these bacteria that live inside their guts, that is very different from a normal, let's call them a normal human being, not a superhuman being. Because for us, I know, for us, a superhuman being is somebody that can live more than 100 years old and that can still be very healthy.
Absolutely. This is finally boiled down. Everything technology Sanki is doing is about this microbiome and how they can do this the job in a very good way that sustain that the body has more energy. If we're talking about here the NRF or the mitochondria, etc., etc. The bacteria in our body, Alex, it's around 2 kilograms per human. It cannot be cleaned out. It cannot be wiped out. It's come from our mothers when we are babies, and this is one of the reasons the mothers and the kids are very associated together. It's alive, evolve. It has a smell that human nose cannot detect, but the olfactive receptors detect. So if we are taking the bacteria from your hands, we put them into the if I take, for example, some any jar or something, if we add them into the lab jar here, add bacteria from origin from your mom or from your wife, which is you associate very strongly with, they will not fight together. You bring another one from outside, they will not interact positively together.
Wow. Wow.
The smell, the vibration, the light, the condition of life makes that these bacteria can grow or not grow, fight or not fight, and they are very sophisticated and smart. We are preparing some document about the technology of fermentation. We are doing, Alex, and just if you take the vibration that around the people where they are living, around the human body, it's affect completely this bacteria system. So when we are taking a product like Bilage, there is no bacteria inside, but it's just a language. And this is what yesterday we was having a conference with Japanese doctors, because the same Bilage you're having in the US is the same one the Japanese doctors is prescribing here. We say this is not a nutrition, this is a language. Around these millions of bacteria in our guts, in our body, to collaborate together and make that the system function well. Without this language, you cannot make the system works. In paper, it's easy. This is where we got misunderstanding in the beginning. People think just I take rosemary and it works. This is olive, or this is the point is this is like you are saying to somebody, if you want to go fast from outside of this city to the central, just you can go by driving 250 kilometers per hour. Maybe in the US we talk about miles, so 100 miles plus per hour, and you cross all of these streets very fast and you arrive to your meeting quick. It's very easy to say. Reality is very, very complicated. Make the bacteria work together is worse than make human working together. And for me, this is why human cannot collaborate easily, is because bacteria, they cannot collaborate easily. They have a very competitive culture because they evolve over millions of years. So they fight each other, they have alliance with each others, they eliminate each others. So it is a very complex balance that very difficult just to reach this balance by taking vitamin C or taking something else.
Wow.
And this is what we, instead of just focusing and saying, okay, you need this microbiome or you need this probiotics, take this, take that, is we just submit that we need just to improve the communication between the existing bacteria and they will do the job. Now, you talked about the vitamin C, Alex. Take the centenarians people. The data is, it is really paradoxal. If you ask any doctors, they will tell you the human body don't produce vitamin C. But if you take the centenarians people, the people who live hundreds years plus, they have a high level of vitamin C metabolite in their blood. Where does vitamin C come from? They eat vitamin C. It does not metabolize this way. They produce, the bacteria produce their own vitamins. They produce their own vitamin D. A lot of vitamins produced by the bacteria itself.
Wow, so you're saying that the vitamin D is produced by bacteria inside the guts.
Inside the guts, in the skin, in case of vitamin D, for example, it's come again to this bacteria, to this microbiome, and not only these vitamins. Take the secret of a human body. Anybody today is today we feel compassion with our brothers and sisters in the US with this storm happening there. take somebody who is going to fight the system and be positive and survive the challenge, and somebody who feeling tired. What make the difference between them? It will boil down to one word: hormones. The hormones make human happy, unhappy, rich, strong, weak, kind, not kind, affecting the size of the impact. Somebody generous, he has more hormones, he would be more generous. Somebody angry would be more angry. Hormones is everything. If you look at the hormones where they are produced, like the serotonin, guts is produced by bacteria, not by human organ. So the bacteria is the one that make us happy or unhappy. The food we are eating can affect these bacteria, but the boss, the gatekeeper, is not the human organ. It's the bacteria system. And from this gut, it's sent to the brain signaling, which is just a post office. If it receives the signal, it will send it. If it does not receive, will not send it. So the post office here, which is normally human talk, when we talk about post office, it's something just transporter, not job is not to think. So who is going to think in this case? Who take the decision? You like somebody, you don't like somebody, you abandon or you fight back. It's the bacteria in our body. So they are the boss of the human body and the interaction with other people. So this is I think today in 2021 we can talk about it. But 20 years ago, it looks ridiculous. It looks like we don't see. It is not tangible things, and tangible against untangible. It's not easy. Now in 2021, we understand that untangible things rule the world, from the operation systems, not the hardware, from the way and to organize things, the chronobiology of the operation. It's not about having money. It's know when to use it, how to use it, how much to use it, and with who to use it. And this is the bacteria that in our guts that manage it. And we just invented Bilaj. It's a language of communication between these bacteria. That's all. It's a code of communication, nothing more, nothing. If you think that the rosemary inside will do the job, it is no. I can tell you immediately. Slightly, yes. If somebody eats something and improve but the efficacy, it's come from the making the mechanism, the machine, which is becoming old, tired, not organized, work much better.
So comparing our Bilaj and all the metabolites that you're saying, all these metabolites are a code of communication. Scientifically speaking, that means gene expression. It means the gene expression. But in common words, it's a code of communication. It's a connection between the bacteria, so they interact, so they work together, so they collaborate. And this is fantastic. This is something that I think nobody, not even in this industry, I'm talking about the network marketing, because as you know, we are selling these products via a multi-level marketing business model.
Yeah.
And I think that no other competitor, no other company is talking about that. They are focused on the 80s, 70s, 60s old nutrition way of seeing. I continue seeing all these companies, and some of them are very big, and they are selling all these products that compared to this, what could you say in conclusion about this new technology compared to what is being sold not only in MLM but via nutrition stores, supermarkets, department stores, or any nutrition center in the world?
This is the fight between the long term and the short term. Short term, it's very easier to sell a solution which say this is good for this is good for that, and this vitamins is good for this, and we have a composition of that. The long term is, unless we speak the language, understand the language of our own body, it is impossible to improve the solution. Now, if we are talking about selling people a solution, and I don't see their face in 1 year. And this is, I think, the trick of the model. If we don't have this long-term vision of being here around, we will not think about going this hard way. We went this hard way, Alex, because we are working with some people who is very serious around us, and they want to judge us. And in 2025 we'll be here, and the 2030 will be here, and the 2040 will be here. And at that time, we cannot say, our technology was finally not working, because now they are saying that it is the opposite. Now they are saying the cholesterol is also good for brain, and if you got too much cholesterol cut, you lose fertility as man and woman. Nobody is going to talk about it. Nobody will want to say we was wrong. There is this, things. It's like political. It's like somebody say, I am vegetarian, and the next year I change my opinion because somebody convinced me it's need. But I don't want to say. The human don't like to say we were wrong and we change opinion. So they insist into something that is obsolete, much easier than telling we were wrong. And the breakfast is not the most important meal in the day because of the food we take. It's because we have bacteria who is the first one who get the food. This is the first one who is going to fight the other. And in this case, it's not about the bread we are taking. Is how can we manage this billions of people in our guts. It's imagine in your company, some people have difficulties to manage 5-10 people. Can you imagine if you have in your company billions of people? Sometimes I compare it, Alex, to big countries like China and or the US, and some small country like Scandinavia and Denmark, 4 million people. It's easy to say we can manage 4 million people and we can have peace with them. But when it's come to 100 million people with different culture, with different attitude, it is very, very complicated. You cannot have language for all of the people.
Yeah, you're right.
We are now in the US. Every part is different and every culture is different and a lot of things is different. Unless we have a unique standard language, it is very difficult to communicate. So for me, the village is a language. It's a code that allows this complex system. Now, is it easy? I'm telling you, no. Frankly speaking, we cannot lie. The guts is very, very complicated system. It is very, very a lot of details, and it's human. They used always the nature to manage this complexity. I cannot do it with this machine that you see in front of you. We just here try to translate what's nature doing into a solution that we can finally make it as a in-box solution. But otherwise, it is not me who doing this solution. It's not the rosemary content. It's not because we increase some amount of something that it will work much better. It's about the balance. And this is, we can see it, Alex, into the advantage of the technology when it's finally reached the mitochondria and they produce not only more energy but affecting the mindset of people around it.
Yes, a complete change of the paradigm. Absolutely, this is a complete change of the paradigms and of the ideas, the misconceptions that we have in our minds.
When we have been working with 5 Japanese clinics to see what is the impact of the product without in the customers and their consumers without knowing what is advantage. Zero knowing what is advantage. Just take it, and number one come change in behavior. The doctors herself saying, I used to be very angry at my staff and the other nurse in the clinic, and after 1 month I start becoming calm. But this is not calm. This is not doctors. This is just, we call it in terms of science, brain resilience. Somebody who is not cracking under the pressure and the things. This is cannot be because of you take some alcohol or some drink or some chocolate bar. This is a whole ecosystem become much stronger, and that's why start looking at things in a more stronger way.
Yeah. And for example, I love some. There are some comments here, and I'm excited to start seeing all the comments from our audience tonight. And for example, Dr. Ruth Ann is saying, "Belash is a language," and I love that because it's a conclusion of what you have been saying.
So this language, Alex, exactly we call it quorum sensing. This is the molecules that bacteria project, which is, you can call it metabolite, you can call it smell, you can call it gases, and that they communicate to each other. And this is the language that Bilaj is speaking the most, and this is why Dr. Kojima passing me the document about this symbiotic language, the metabolites, what we call it finally ADS, and advanced delivery system, that in reality just the language between bacteria together.
Wow.
And this goes. This is what I think makes that. For example, take the people the first time that a human drink Bilaj, okay? You can notice it the first time somebody drink the orisod molecule, the formula. There's a feeling in the guts that happen immediately. They feel something. They say, "I feel something." It's not about drinking fresh orange juice. It's not about drinking a nice cup of tea, which I like. Bilaj brings something different. And when we test, for example, the most aggressive bacteria is like the Eclipsella that promote the brain to want to eat carbohydrates. When we add the molecule of orisod to these bacteria, they become calmed down and they are not hungry anymore. Which means if you take the Bilaj before meal, it cut your appetite also. It means the human can remain more resilient, more calm, not affected by their hunger to take their decisions. So plus minus, if you are going to buy a car and you drink Bilaj before, you are going to negotiate much better with the dealer than if you don't have the product.
Amazing.
And this is where we prove that finally, if I move to the we talk about all of this modulation, that the Bilaj affect all of these composition of all of these microbiome, the important one, that the job is done by them, not by us.
So what you're saying here in this slide is that the Bilaj intake increases the amount of specific types of bacteria inside our guts.
Yeah,
we have. I know that we have hundreds of different types of bacteria. Of these 2 kilos, which are maybe 5 pounds, we have 5 pounds of bacteria inside our guts. Just inside our guts, 5 pounds of bacteria, and the Bilaj intake increases some specific bacteria that are good for our health. These bacteria, like the Acidophilus or the Plantarum or Rosburria intestinalis, all these bacteria are for what?
For example, take the last one, the Akkermansia, one of our loved one, okay? If you take the Akkermansia, if you take any human today, any subject, if you find they have a lot of this Akkermansia, impossible to be diabetes or with metabolic syndrome. These bacteria produce metabolite that promote sugar intake in the cell, etc. Which means that this can reverse or help reversing this problem of sugar intake. Now, either we have this bacteria to by intaking it as a lot of pharmaceutical or nutritional companies say, "Oh, let's take the bacteria itself." For us, scientifically speaking, experientially speaking, it is cannot be sustained. We must help them growing up. If you want to cook for your wife, you cannot bring chef from outside every day to cook for your wife. You must learn cooking. If you want these bacteria to live in your intestine, you must feed them and make them collaborating together. Otherwise, they leave. And this is what the whole technologies is about. We think that the communicating with this language, with these bacteria, people always talk about aliens and where is aliens come from, and somebody saw aliens, and some people sometimes I make me with the Japanese scientists around me laughing is when they say aliens is around us. Yes, they are around us. They are these bacteria living inside us and affecting our mood, brain, who we love, who we hate, when we want to eat and not. And if we learn this language, we can improve the quality of life of people. And this is what we want to do at our labs here in Tokyo, which I invite everybody to come and visit us. Is how can we develop solution that not only communicate with the microbiome through beverage intake, but we can also put it in the human skin, into the human bed, etc., and interact with all of these billions of sensors around us. Now, the advantage of all of this, Alex, why a Japanese doctor must, it's not can, must have these products, is nobody want to solve long-term problems. This is, some doctors tell me these days, people don't want to invest in their own kids for the long term. We are talking about investing in a human body for the long term. And this is, I think, the advantage of Village. It's we can see that the advantage is improving the health condition, improving the energy, make that the system does not crash down, is all of the game. And this is where I think the not becoming sick is the luxury of the next 10 years. And this is, we saw it with this corona and post-corona, everybody now expecting with these vaccine solution is going to be solved, which is true for the corona. But the human body, without touching each other, without connecting with each other, is going to become a troublesome, Alex. And the next, after this corona finish, and it will finish in next 2 years maximum, a lot of other disease will appear. A lot of other chronic disease will appear. A lot of depression will appear. The numbers I saw this morning in Japan, suicide among young people has been doubled in just 1 year. And this is one of the most rich country in the world. How can you explain such system? I think we need to connect the human back to the nature, which is much smart. And it's not about substitute the nature or instant nature, is how to connect them with the nature. And that's why if you take the first olive tree that we discover the super bacteria inside, today is becoming a plantation. And this plantation is supplying such probiotics that allow us to develop such unique technologies. So our aim is, at the end of the day, either you come to this plantation, Alex, and you touch the tree and you get its advantage, which is not easy for you to do every day, every month, every year, or we can try to collaborate with this nature and bring its language, which is smart, to everyone. But you are always welcome to come and see.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to see some of the comments, and I would love to see more comments in the chat with all our audience tonight. And some of them are saying, I would love to go to Tokyo to see all these in person, and of course they are invited. And we have in our business model the opportunity to our double diamonds to visit, and we have been with you many times. In the past 11 years with our top distributors, double diamonds, triple diamonds, ambassadors in Tokyo and in Kyoto, visiting the labs, visiting what is the origin of all these fantastic technology.
Absolutely, Alex. This technology, frankly speaking, if we come back to Sanki itself, the culture of the company has been affected by these centenarians. The people who is centenarians, they have very strong wisdom. And the things that If you look at when we start 11 years ago, 2010, Alex, you tell me in 2011, almost 10 years, 1 year after, we need to communicate more, we need to show our technology, we need to show the doctors, we need to show advisors, we need to show more documentation for the people, etc. You remember?
Yes.
The questions, if you take the wise centenarians, they ask me always the same question. If you have something smart that make you make money, are you going to share it with everyone?
No.
Reality, no. If you know some gold mine where you can get some gold, are you going to tell people where you find it?
No.
No. If you have smart idea or nice joke that you discover yourself, are you going to share it with everyone free of charge?
No.
But this is the nature of the same thing. The trees, the olive trees in the plantation, they give the nutrition for specific bacteria, for specific tree, because they collaborate together. Without this sense of collaboration, they starve the others, This is nature.
Yeah.
So coming to the business model or to the way we operate, do we have interest to show everybody what we are doing? No, really. Our purpose is to sustain as this, as nature asks us to do. We act like tree. So the trees that give us this genesis of this technology is they change leaves every year. They have new flowers, but the roots is always the same. The place is always the same. And this is we cannot affect this. And I think for the next 10 years, a lot of people now is wondering which business they can do, which product they can trust, which type of education they can give to the kids who is going to start working in 10 years. And unless we have a very clarity about something that does not change, it's very difficult to have this stability, which we cherish the most. We act like trees. We don't want to change our roots. We don't want to move out. We don't want to change business. From my point of view, there is no honor in making a startup and sell the company and start in other place and doing other thing, and finally people is abandoned and the culture is new roots and new thing. New is not good. Evolution is good, but changing leaves is good, but changing roots is not good.
And that's why we decided to use this specific business model, because it's not massive. It's word of mouth. It's person by person. And today we have a certain amount of people that know about this tonight. And the idea is that with this information, they will start spreading the word. There are almost 8 billion people out there. So at the end, to make a change, you don't need everybody. You just need a certain amount of leaders that have information, that have the knowledge to make the shift, to make the whole world change. And that's our whole idea. And for me, this means opportunity. This means stability. This means long-term as a business model, because I think that after listening to all your presentation and all this fantastic technology, people sometimes get nervous because they think that they need to be scientists, that they need to know all this information. And at the end, it's not necessary, because at the end, the product really, really works. And that's the important thing. The products work, and people love them as soon as they start taking them. So that's what we need to share with everybody out there. But there's great technology, that we have been working decades into this, and all the other nutrition products that are out there are completely different. Can we say tonight that the products that we have through Sanki are completely different from all the other products that you know globally? Because I know that you know products in all the world. You have visited almost all the countries in the world, or a lot of countries in the world, in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, in Middle East, Australia, etc. And of all what you have seen, can we conclude that this is, of course, completely different and the best we can find on nutrition?
Absolutely, because this is really, Alex, we start from the end. The most important the things is this language of bacteria, and this is what we focus. We are not delivering vitamins, bioactives, or polyphenols or antioxidants. No, we think the most difficult things is this gatekeeper, and this is what we are targeting, and that's why the product works, and this is why it's slowly growing. Now, is it complicated to understand for average people? Absolutely, yes. Nobody want to accept that the food we are eating is not the most important, but who is processing it? This is, Alex, when you come to Tokyo always, and I hope I invite every members listening to us to visit us, I go often with Alex to very nice sushi restaurant. Mr. Chef Saito, you remember, and the chef, all of the restaurants, the chefs get the same fish, They go to fish market and they capture the same fish. You cannot say I'm going to choose much better fish than the other one because they are coming together. But what differentiates that one chef is doing very good job and the other is so? It is the same fish and it's not cooked. You cannot even say they are cooking. They are not cooking. They are just cutting.
Yeah.
So someone, he just really love what he's doing about the fish, and he feel the muscle, and he cut in a way that the fish taste is very good. And the other one, he just take the knife and make. This skillful chef is everything, and this is what we are bringing to the human body. How to bring this organizer, how to teach the body to fish itself and not just give them to fish to eat. We cannot it's not about the volume, it's about the quality, it's about the balance, it's about the sophistication of this solution. And this is, it's not easy to sell. I'm agree with you. It's not easy to explain. I'm agree with you, but we must believe, Alex, in the power of the very few who can bring this awareness to others. And especially talking about that, I think this the most. This is quite very shocking to say it. Actually, among all of the bacteria we have been collecting, analyzing from nature, from human, from the sea, the strongest one, of course, is coming always from sea origin. Then the human ones, and then the land one. If you look at origin of the strongest one, a lot of them is female-originated bacteria, not male-originated bacteria. Man's bacteria system is not as strong as woman's one. So the woman's, if you the old people say one woman in the village can rise the whole things, etc. I think one woman in one country can rise everything. One woman can contaminate with strength everybody, and that's why the woman is very important for us from the beginning, if you remember, and why we want to have the woman at the front. And if you remember our office when you enter in 2010 with the woman at the front, you remember?
Yes, very well.
Which is still at the front. And people normally put lion at the front, but some things strong at the front, but some the rich Japanese companies put samurai swords at the front. But woman at the front and nice woman status at the front woman is the strongest creators that exist in Earth, and they have these bacteria much stronger than men one, and men like woman because they can borrow from them such bacteria every day. So I think this is very interesting because it's bring awareness not only about health. Village is not only it's teach us how to communicate with why other human is very important around us, and why connecting with people is very important, and why in 2023, 4, 5, 6, a lot of a human will have a lot of mental issue because of this disconnection. We don't touch each other. We don't touch outside. We don't touch. Everything became too much clean. and clean is very weak in terms of bacteria.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's very paradox. 100 years ago, we spend money to tell people, you must clean your kids. And there is the advertisement that say, if you are a good mother, clean your kids with this soap. And now we will come back to tell them, if you love your family, you must make them connected with each other and bring them some bacteria from outside.
Absolutely. This is very interesting, and we are. It's clear that we are a very different company. That we have very different, disruptive, mind-blowing technology. And now, for all our audience tonight, our distributors, this is a business opportunity. This is the best opportunity in your lives, I can say, because health will never be less important. It's as important as anything. I think it's the most important thing in the world, in our lives, because I think that people are usually focused on obtaining money, get wealthy, and without health, they cannot spend all that money. They cannot enjoy life. They cannot live their life at its best. So now with this coronavirus and all these lockdowns, it's clear that health is the most, as you said, the most important asset. And we have a humongous opportunity to share all this information and to share the business opportunity with the millions and millions and millions of people out there that have no clue that this exists, that this is a business opportunity, that people can make a lot of money out of it. Because I know that for many of the people tonight, this is an opportunity to make good money. And for us, that's why we decided to build this business model and to build this company and found this company. So I just want to reinforce that we have been in 11 years growing steadily. As I said, this is not the fastest growing company in the world, in the industry, but we are the best one with the best technology that you will ever see in nutrition. And now is the time to attract the right leaders, the right people, the people that are open to a change, that are open to a paradigm shift, so they can change the lives in their communities, and then they can empower the women in their communities and all the people that will come behind, because we know that the mitochondria come from our mothers.
Yes.
We are, all this energy that comes from the mitochondria is because of our moms, not because of our dads. You taught me that. So even in biology, women are stronger, and it's confirmed. It's not smarter, absolutely. So, well,
not easy to say to the men sometimes, but I think it's very important that the men understand the dynamics, because if we understand it, we can leverage, we can harness the woman's power, you know.
Yeah. And I to conclude, I always listen a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise out there with so many companies offering business opportunities in this industry, and now it's time to separate from all that noise, to put at another level, because we are at another level, absolutely, and to start attracting all these people that will, in 2021, they will be more open to understand this and to start building a strong business, a legacy business, because it's not a matter of building a business that you will end up selling or you will end up just earning money for 3-5 years. It's better to be in a company where you will earn money for 40, 50, 60 years if we are able to live that long. Because that's the idea, that we add another 60 years to our today lives. If you're 40, then you end up at 100, 60 plus years. And that's the idea about longevity.
In good, at least in good condition, Alex.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you, Doctor, for this extraordinary conference and all this fantastic information. I've been listening to you 11 years. I've been with you, I don't know how many times, in Japan, in Europe, in Mexico, in Colombia, in USA. And every single conference you have new information, something new, some new magic to share with all our members.
Above all, thank you to Alex, for your trust. Reminding the village in Japan is not sold in any as an business. It's sold through doctors. We never thought about bringing this product technology to this opportunity. We don't know what this means, frankly speaking. And if you are in Tokyo and you want to buy this, you must go through clinics to acquire it. And this is the we are not even making any other models except doctors' models in Japan. So thanks you for bringing this opportunity to the US, to Mexico, to really improve the quality of life of people. And at the same time, as you are saying, this is, frankly speaking, joining super opportunity and super chance to bring smartness to our communities and to our people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we need. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. There are many comments in our chat, and people are really excited. They love you, Doctor. They are saying that you are amazing. It's a huge honor to belong to this fantastic, unique, wonderful company. Next level knowledge. We are truly blessed. And well, thank you for all of this tonight. And
thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, Jose and Dr. Helen. We leave you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ideas. Thank you, Alejandro Lopez-Telo. Thank you for sharing this amazing information and so valuable information for all our Sanki family members in the US and the Caribbean islands. We are so blessed for having both of you tonight here. So I just feel honored, and I thank you, both of you, for this amazing opportunity to share this technology with all the attendees tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.